Hello, hello, hello. Hello, hello, hello. How's everybody doing? How's everybody doing? I'm gonna do a little housekeeping here. Let me know if you can hear me and if you can see my shared screen. If anybody's watching, um, just gonna wait like a minute and then get this going. So it's been a little while since I updated you guys, and there's a lot happening, and I just want to keep everybody updated. All right, let me share this. I'm going to share this to Twitter real quick, and then I will continue with this live. So today we are going to talk about quick updates and also, go over the gameplay actually. So there'll be a lot of discovery here today, where you guys get to learn about the game itself. Um, so that's exciting. That's exciting. All right. I'm almost done posting it, guys. Almost done posting it. A little slow at these things. I need to find a way to automate this stuff so now when I go live, it just updates on Twitter. I know it's doable. All right. Classic rewards. Update live. Live updates. Okay. All right. So I haven't. So if you can hear me, let me know. Let me see if we have any comment. Okay. Shama says all good. That's good. Perfect. 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 Mike says we're good. All right. All right. We're about to set the ball rolling. So I just tweeted that out. We're about to set the ball rolling here. All right. So just a few updates, guys. Just a few updates. Let me um let me actually mute this. All right. So just a few updates. So one, the first update is that we are quite close to the ETC mint. The team has been working really hard on making that happen, because we do need to have the ETC mint going, so that when the game design team is ready to be testing on both fronts, we can actually test. Or one thing I didn't do, I didn't put this the website in the description. So 1 second here. So yeah, some people may ask, oh, why don't we finish? Some people have already asked that why don't we finish BNB before we start ETC Mint? And the thing is that we have to make sure everything is working well together. And finishing one and waiting to do the other one will really, really slow down the timeline of things. And I need things to move a little faster. So that's why we need to get the ETC up and running alongside. So that's the reason, guys. That is the reason. All right. So right now I am updating the description of the video, and then we're gonna get started. Today we're gonna go into some flow charts here. So uh, trust me, it's not gonna be boring. It will actually start showing you how the game is played, and then how you can strategize. And I see some people are planning on swapping some NFTs with some other people, but you gotta know all the rules of the game first before you start swapping away. So just hang in there. All right, I'm gonna edit this. Okay, classicrewards.io. Okay, all right. So let's guess that. Oh, and also we've had a lot of um, um, changes to the minting page. Our new front end design, Sharma, combined with the Ethereum Classic team, have been doing great work, and then we wanted them to match. So, and also we tried to provide enough information here for on how people can mint on mobile, and then how they can view it, because there's a lot of back and forth. And so I made video tutorials to explain to people. It's still not an easy uh, task here, but it's slowly. We are trying very slowly to make the process as seamless as possible. So let me log in here and see how many mints we have. So if you are watching and you won a giveaway, I think there were about seven. Oh no, there were about 7 or 9 giveaways. I actually sent. I think I sent all of them a few days ago. So if you are watching and you want a giveaway, I actually sent it. I just haven't told people that I've sent it yet. So there. Okay, so we have 277 minted out of 6,000, and up to 500. That's where the most rewards are. And the truth is, we barely marketed this thing, and I'm focused on trying to get everything working right on both sides before we start pushing it hard to the masses. So that's why we are not in any huge rush at all, because I believe, the team believes that we have a good product, and once we have everything working right on ETC and BNB, it's going to be really easy to market. So it's just the quiet before the storm. We got to do the hard work and make everything go. All right. So now let's talk about the game itself. So I'm gonna go. So this is a back end document that I shared with the game designers a while back. We've made very few tweaks to it, but it's pretty much the same as it is now. I'm not gonna go over the entire document. I'm going to go over the flowchart version here, um, which is pretty much how the game is going to be played. So for the flowchart version of this game, right? If you've done any programming, you can easily interpret this yourself. But I'm going to walk you guys along. So when you start the game, at the beginning of the game, you're gonna have an interface where you choose whether you want to play a 2 card game or a 5 card game. So the 2 card game, it will pair you with someone else who wants to play a 2 card game, and the 5 card game will also pair you with someone who wants to play a 5 card game. So in that case, right, what will happen is, well, also you will see how many people are online on the 2 card and how many people are online on the 5 card, and you should be able to enter both of them, and whichever one you get a pair with fast, you play with that person. So let's say I'm going to start with a 5 card one. Okay. So let's say you decide to choose 5 cards. If you choose 5 cards, let me zoom in here. Ooh, no, no. All right. So if you choose 5 cards, the next is that the game will automatically assign you a random, whether you're going to be attack or defense. If you are attack, you will be assigned the color red, and if you're defense, you will be assigned the color blue. This part of the game that you have no control over. It's going to be a very random selection. So every game you will either be assigned a red or blue, right? This is where it counts when you have a pretty deep deck, because we have certain players that are good for defense and certain players that are good for attack. And if you've been assigned attack, after you assign you line up all your players, right? After you line up all your players, you will um, you will be given a plus 25% boost for your attack points. Listen carefully. If you've been assigned red at this stage, right, at this very stage here, if you've been assigned red, which is attack, all your attack points will be combined and it will be increased by 25%. Nothing happens to your defense points. So if you put up a team that has a lot of defense points, your only the attack points are going to be boosted at this stage by 25%. Same thing happens with defense. If you were assigned defense and your color is blue, your side is blue, all your points, your defense points, only defense points, gets boosted by 25%, same percentage. So Um, this is where if you do have a deep enough deck that you can build an attack team and a defense team, you have an advantage. But at the same time, we have other strategies coming up. Okay, so this you have no control of, but once you know which color you are, then you start building your deck accordingly. Now, so now you select the 5 best cards to boost points for each other. So there is another table which I don't know if I should share that now, but you know what? I'll just share it now so you guys can have a look. I mean, the final GDD presentation is going to be much better, but this is just the nerdy part. So one of our not one, two of our artists have a festival going on, so they are taking a 2 week break, and then but the game programmers need them to finish like the arena and stuff for them to be able to program some stuff. So that's why we still have a little bit of a delay in graphics for the game, but things are already in place. Yeah, let me reduce this a bit. All right, so 1 second here. Okay, hold on. All right, let's go back here. I'll tell you the reason why I brought that up soon. All right, so now you select your card. So you select your 5 cards. When you're selecting your 5 cards, this is where you have to be very careful. So in here we have, let me reduce this so you guys can see. It's not reducing. All right, so in here you have, maybe reduce from here, there. We have this character effect table, right? Which is the first part here talks about the effects of players on the same team. So, for example, if you have a mercenary on your team, this is how a mercenary is going to affect other players on the same team. It's it's literally going to increase everybody's attack by 15%. Okay, so just off the top of my mind, I know that the mercenary is actually a good player for attack. And funny enough, the mercenary comes uh, with a pretty high attack by itself. So its turn attack as a unit is much higher than most of the others, right? So that's clearly an attack player. Now you look at the gladiator. The gladiator, what it does is that it increases every single player by 15%. So every single player's defense by 15%. It doesn't do anything to your attack or whatnot. It increases every single player's defense by 15%. And obviously, the gladiator also starts with pretty high defense. So you know that gladiator is pretty high. Now, this is where it starts getting interesting. You have a player like the knight. Let me zoom out this Excel. Okay. So the knight, for example, it does increase every player's attack and defense, not just attack or defense, attack and defense, but it increases the attack by 10% and defense by 10%. So it doesn't quite get to the 15% on attack, but overall, points are boosted on both sides, right? And then you have the archer, which does something. Archer increases all the other players' attack by 10%, but it only increases another archer's percentage by 15%. And then we have the monk, which is also very unique. So, the monk, the archer, and the knight affect players kind of uniquely. The monk affects the archer by increasing an archer on the same team. I'm only talking about players on the same team. It increases an archer by 20%. It increases an archer's attack by 20%. It increases a gladiator's defense by 20%. Increases another monk's grit by 25%. So far, we haven't spoken about grit yet, but what a monk does, it increases another monk's grit by 25%. It increases the attack of a mercenary by 30%, a whopping 30%. And then it increases um, a knight's attack by 25% and defense by 20%. Okay, but the monk itself doesn't come with very strong attack points by itself, but it's able to boost others in other ways. So I'm not going to talk about the opposing team yet. I'm going to go back to the um, trust me, when this thing is done, it's going to be explained much simpler. Okay, these are developer notes that reading to you guys. So all right, let's go back to the flowchart here. So you picked your team based on all these percentages, how your what affects what, and how and you try to build the best defense or attack team, right? So after you finish building your defense or attack team and all the percentage boosts have been in place, have been added, right? Let me see. This is when either all your defense or attack points are going to be increased by 25%. So the next thing down here is now the computer randomly. This is also going to be one of the most strategic things that can happen in the game. Now, both of you have selected your cards. You know whether you attack or defense, and you can be both attack and defense. One will be attack, one will be you can be both attack and attack. It has to be one attack and one defense. At this point, the computer will randomly show two of your cards. Again, I'm talking about the 5-card game, right? The computer will randomly show two of your cards, reveal two of your cards to the opponent. So if I have a set of 5 cards, I will have 2 cards revealed to the opponent. And what happens is those cards that have been revealed, I cannot change them. But after that, I will get 60 seconds. We're in this box now. After that, I will get 60 seconds to change the other 3 cards that were not revealed. And because the opponent will try to read your cards based on the 2 that were revealed and see what kind of army you are building, and you can choose to either change your 3 cards or not. It's up to you. So you have 60 seconds to do that. Once you finish changing your cards, right, what will happen then is that the points will be recalculated again, okay, because you change some cards and stuff. And so actually this is when the first calculation of the points really matter, because the first time it wasn't used for anything. So all points get calculated, including the boost percentages and all that. Okay. Now, after that, it's time to start playing the game. We are in the arena because we had our strategy, we had our reveal strategy, and you either changed your cards or you didn't. And now we start playing. So when we start playing, what will happen here is let's see. Okay, Lucas says, good morning. Hello, how you doing? Time limit for selecting cards. Yes, there will be time limit. Actually, yes, I don't have the initial time limit in here. But once you are paired up and you start, there will be a time limit, but there's definitely a time limit here for changing your cards, which is 60 seconds. So Mike, that's a very good question. There will be time limits. I think what will happen is that when it's all done, right? We'll play and we'll play for a bit and see what would be a good time limit for people to make good choices, good decisions. Okay. So when it's all said and done, the attack team right here gets to play first. So just from my sample simulations so far, if you are the attack team, you are just at a little bit of a disadvantage to begin with, but then you could actually use it as an advantage depending on how you play, because you get to show your first hand. You get to bring a player up into the arena first, and then the defense team gets to counter your player. So they get to see which player you have, and then they get to counter that player, right? So here, the attack team plays first by sending one of their warriors into the arena. And so you send one of your warriors, one of the 5 in there. And then the defense team also challenges, the warrior that's in the arena. Now, after that, we are now in this box here. Counterpoints are then subtracted from players in the arena. So here's the thing, guys. The counterpoints, I'm going to go back to this table. It's not that complex. Let me reduce this so I can see. When you scroll down this table, all right. So when you scroll down this table, all right. All right, let me hold on. I need to pull a more current document. 1 second here. One second here. All right, I had pulled out an older document because I just realized the red marks were not there. My bad. Okay. All right, but the effects on the same team were the same, so that doesn't change now. Now we have effects on opposing team members. Now the effects on opposing team members is a slightly different animal. So for each player, the first stuff that I showed you was how it affects people on the same team. Now this one is how it affects another warrior on the opposing team, right? So then again, this is one that of course I have mentioned over and over again. So for example, the monk, right? How does a monk affect a player on the opposing team? It does a lot of damage to the knight. It reduces the knight's overall score. When I say overall score, that's your attack, your defense, and your grit. It reduces the knight's overall score by -20%, which is pretty powerful. And we have the archer, right? How does the archer affect the other players on here? Okay, let me go over all the players that the monk affects. So the monk has absolutely no effect on the archer when you pair them up in the arena to fight. So when you bring the monk and the archer to fight, the monk has no effect on the archer. The monk reduces the gladiator's points by -10%. It has no effect on an opposing monk. So when you bring them up to fight, so it's only when you bring players up to fight in the arena that the counter effects are calculated. They are not calculated just by you having them in your team. That's why you have to be selective on which player you put in the arena to play the other player. Okay, so the monk has no effect on the mercenary either. So the monk's main counter unit is the knight. Okay, and then if you look at the archer here, the archer has no effect on any other player except for the monk. It does real damage to the monk by -25% of the overall score. Okay, so the after your monk has been boosted, whatever, once you get into the arena and you happen to face an archer, that monk will immediately lose 25% of its overall score. And same thing happens here. The knight, um, the knight has no effect on any other player except for the gladiator. It reduces the overall score by 20%. Um, the gladiator, okay, has no effect on any other player one-on-one except for the mercenary. Okay, so if there's a mercenary in there that's coming hard, a gladiator will automatically take down 20% of all the mercenaries' points before they even begin fighting. So that's a pretty good pair to make there. And then we have the mercenary over here who has reduces the archer's points by 20%. Okay, and it also reduces the monks. Oh, you know what? Actually, no. Actually, this has been updated. Yeah, okay. It does reduce the monks. It's here. It says defense by 10%, but it's actually the monk's overall score by 10%. So the monk can also be destroyed with the mercenary, but at a much lower scale than an archer. An archer does much more damage. So this should be overall score. And then we have the knight. The knight does damage to the gladiator. So at the end of the day, these percentages, it doesn't matter if your card is a 1 star or a 5 star. If if a mercenary is doing 20% damage to an archer before the start of the fight, no matter what, if it's a 1 star or a 5 star, 20% is subtracted before the fight starts. Okay. So that's why it doesn't really matter which cards you have, except the 4 or 5 star cards. They will come starting with pretty high attack and pretty high defense points, so that definitely gives you an advantage. But you can play the other. You can play the game very well and have a great chance at winning even if you don't have very, very high cards. Okay. All right. So here we go again. Let me see here. So I'm going to show you how to calculate your metadata for your cards before I continue, before I go back to this flow chart. Let me see if I have this in here. Okay, I don't have that. Let me pull metadata real quick here. All right. I'm going to show you how to calculate the metadata. So for example, if you have a level 1 archer, right? A level 1 archer has 80 attack, 50 defense, and 70 grit. That's level 1. For each level above it, just add 5. So level 2 will be 85 attack, 55 defense, 75 grit. Level 3 will be 90 all the way to level 5. Okay, so that's level 1 archer. Let's go to level 2. I might have to scroll down. Let's go to the gladiators. So if you have a level 1 gladiator, it has 70 attack, 80 grit, and 50 70 attack, 80 defense, and 50 grit. And same way, you just add 5 to know the starting point. There's actually a link that I will provide in the Telegram where you just add your token ID and it shows you the full actual metadata. But I'm just giving you a heads up on how your characters will start. Okay, so before I lose you guys, what do you guys think so far? Does it sound complicated? Does it sound super complicated? And yeah, I just want to know you guys to know. I just want to know what you guys think so far. Let's go back to the flow chart and continue the game. So you brought up one player, the other person also brought one player, and then now we do the counterpoints. So definitely in this diagram right here, if somebody brings up a gladiator, I'm going to be bringing up a knight, because over here the knight clearly destroys the gladiator by reducing its total points by 20%, right? So if you know that, at this stage, you make sure you bring a good counter character. That's where the defense team has an advantage, because the attack team doesn't get to do that. They just play first and then the defense team attacks. Now, what happens is that after those points are subtracted, both teams, attack and defense, get to roll a die, because you have one player each in the arena that are fighting, right? So both teams get to roll a die. And then this die, okay, is from 1 to 6, okay? So this is a part where there's a little bit of chance, but again, that's why we want to make sure that the game everybody still has a pretty decent chance, no matter what card they have. So after all the strategy has taken place, right? You both get to roll a die, and it's from 1 to 6. If you roll a 1, your overall score, not overall of the whole team, but overall of that character, right, gets increased by 5%. If you roll a 2, it gets increased by 10%. If you roll a 3, it gets increased by 15. It's just multiples of 5. So the highest you can roll is a 6, and your overall score will get increased by 30%. Okay, that's for the individual players that are in the arena that are fighting. Now that you finish rolling that die and your points have been increased, at that time, we just see who has the highest points. So if, let's say, one of the characters ends up with 220 points, the other one ends up with 200 points, then the one, let me just use actual characters. Let's say we have a gladiator that ends up with 220 points, and then we have an archer that ends up with 200 points, right? Then the gladiator remains standing, but he only remains standing with the remainder of the points, like with a difference in points. So he will remain standing with only 20 points. Okay, so again, let's say the attacking team played first and they brought the archer, and for some reason the defense team brought a gladiator, even though that's not a good pair to counter the archer. They probably had a 5-star gladiator, and they knew that it was going to take down the archer anyway. So they brought the gladiator up, and now gladiator wins that fight, but the gladiator is left with only 20 points, and the archer is gone. The archer is gone out of the game. Now the one that loses the fight gets to play next, so they get to now bring their player on. So the attacking team, even though they didn't get to play first, if they lose the battle, now it's their time, their chance to play next. Now, here's a quick tip which I'm going to drop here real quick. In a few simulations that I've seen, that I've made and gone through with some of the game design guys. Um, if you are going to fight someone and they have a weak soldier over there with 20 points, don't take your best counter character, because what if they have a lot more gladiators, and then you take your knight, your only knight, which is very effective against gladiators. You take it against that weak gladiator, right? And then you waste your 20% minus, so you only reduce that gladiator's point by four points, when you could have held on to it and wait for a fresh gladiator, and you actually reduce the points by 40 points or something of that sort. So that's just a little tip I'm going to throw in there for those who happen to be on this live, but most of you will figure it out as you go along the way. So this goes on. If after the roll of the dice, both teams end up with the same score, they just roll the die again. They just keep rolling it until someone has a higher score. But the truth is, if you play your strategy very well, you might actually be more than 30% ahead of the other player. So even if you roll a 1 and they roll a 6, you still win. So strategy just really increases your chance of winning more games, right? So that's why you still got to keep the strategy in mind. All right, moving on to the next stage. So the roll, okay, I already spoke about the die roll and everything. So this process just keeps going on. There will always be a player standing, and then the next player comes on. We do the counterpoints deduction, and then the die roll, and until the last player standing. The last player standing wins the game. It's as simple as that. So there are so many strategies to begin with. At the very beginning, your first 5 is important, because you want to make sure that all your first 5 players kind of boost each other in a way. And at the very beginning, you actually, oh yeah, you would have been assigned. Let me see, begin, select 5 cards, random assignment. Yes. So before you even select your actual cards, you would already know whether you are on a defense or an attack team. So if you are on a defense team, okay, let's say, for example, I'm on an attack team. Now, if I'm on an attack team, I will look through my deck of cards, right? So you will have a deck of cards there, which is going to show you all the cards you have. For example, if it will show you, like, let's say 3-star archer, and it will show the number that you have. If you have 1 or 2 or 3 of them or 5 of them, right? So you build your deck that way. You pull them up into the fighting line, and this process is all being animated, so it's actually going to be fun as well. And then you realize that I know it looks like the monk is very it's a very heavy player. So for example, if you have a monk and you are building an attack team, you probably should look out for mercenaries, because monk increases a mercenary's attack by 30%. Okay, and I think that's pretty much the highest increase we have in the game. So but remember, the mercenary is pretty weak at defense. And the mercenary is pretty weak at defense, so just have that at the back of your mind as well. uh, but if you have one monk, it will increase every mercenary's attack by 30%. If you have 2 monks, it will also increase each one by 30%. 30% of the original score, not the already boosted score. So if your monk comes in and their attack, for example, is 100, right? And then one monk boosts that 100 to 130, right? The next monk will only add 30 points and boost it to 160, not 30% off the 130, but 30% off the original. I hope you guys understand that. And we will have a board on the side that's going to show how the scores are quickly being added, or just so that people can follow along and know how their team is doing overall and how each character is doing. And so you build your attack team. You probably want to have the archer is not bad as well, but again, the archer doesn't add much to other players except for other archers. It does increase them by their attack by 15%, increases their uh, other players by only 10%, right? But we have players like the gladiator that increases everybody's defense by 15%. And you probably don't want to touch the gladiator when you've been assigned attack, because you need those initial points. You need your team to get the initial boost. So I actually forgot what I was talking about. Okay, I was just going over the steps, right? Right. So now you select your team. That's the first line of strategy, picking your first five. Now, this first five, you're gonna have a chance to switch them around again, because the computer will randomly reveal two of your teams. So here's one thing that you can do as well. Another strategy, which I didn't think it was a great idea, but uh, one of the other guys who was running the test simulation, he picked the worst players on his team for all five, and he knew that he'll be stuck with two of them anyway. So when those two were revealed, then he switched the other three to 5-star players, pretty powerful players. But I don't know if that's a great strategy, because you'll be stuck with those two. Once the two cards are randomly revealed, you cannot change those ones, but you can actually change the other three on your team. So there is that. So that's going to be another time for people to strategize. If you see somebody with two monks and you don't have a single archer, you should be concerned, because when you look in here, it's when you look, oh, not wrong document. When you look in here, like most other players do no damage to the monk. It's only it's only the archer and the mercenary that do damage to the monk. The archer does a little bit more damage than the mercenary, like a lot more damage. Minus 25% overall score. That is minus 25% on attack, on defense, on grit. That's a lot. And then the mercenary does minus 10% defense score. Let's see. There's a question here. On the reveal, will it show the star rating? Yes, it will show the star rating. It will show the entire card, and the star rating. And the good thing about our game is that your starting metadata will be the same. Like the starting metadata for every 4-star archer is the same, right? The starting metadata for every 1-star archer is the same. Every 5-star archer is the same. So it will show the metadata as well, but that's information that we all know. But that's just your starting metadata. The question is, who else is on your team? It depends on who else you put on that team. That's going to determine that archer's final score. So that beginning part is going to be huge as well. But that's stuff that with time, people will just learn it, and actually just depending on which cards you have, what is the best 5 for your attack team and what is the best 5 for your defense team, right? Depending on the hands you have, right? If you have 5 cards, you don't have a choice. Whether it's attack or defense, you're playing with those 5 cards. So those of you watching now, if you haven't liked the video, please do want to like the video. If you haven't followed our Twitter, okay, please let me pull up our Twitter for you to take a look at. Please do well and check out our Twitter. And the interesting thing is, so many people still do not believe that we are actually building this game, which I think is funny. I think it's also because we are not like out doing a lot of marketing. It's because I'm still working full time, and I'm still connecting between three different teams: the Binance team, the Ethereum Classic team, and the game design team. So, I mean, if I tell you how many hours a day I put into this, you probably won't believe it. But when everything starts to come out, that's when we're gonna have the time to fully market. And I'll be, about 3 weeks ago, I was doing a lot of live AMAs. I was doing a lot of live spaces and stuff. I don't know if you guys remember. I was on spring break. I was on a week spring break, and that was when I was doing all that. So I think in about 4 weeks, I will be done. I'll be done for this summer break till August. So that's when things will kick in. And once Mint revenue starts coming in, we're going to hire full marketing teams, and then I'll be doing less, and then it'll be time to fly. Mike, that's true, man. That is true. That is true. Quality does take time, and then you want to make the gameplay experience, pretty good experience. Like, I play games. I play Age of Empires and stuff online, and so I have different ways of assessing games, and I don't want it to be too simple. At the same time, I don't want it to be too complex. So there's this fine line that we're trying to tread, and yeah, yeah, quality does take time. Hey, Miguel, welcome, 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 welcome. All right. So, any other questions? I think I went over the flowchart to the very end, right? So this flowchart is intimidating, but it's not that intimidating. Um, so at the end of the day, the last player standing in the arena wins the fight. Okay, and that's about it. So most of you will actually come up with different strategies on your own, and then we'll see how it all plays out. We'll see how it all plays out. All right. So if you look on this card, we didn't go in this direction, but this direction, the two card direction is a pretty short one. If you choose to play with the two cards, right? And oh, by the way, guys, this game when it comes out is going to be free to play. So even if somebody doesn't have a single NFT, uh, they can log in, create an account, and they will be given, I think it's 1 to 2 stars cards, and they can do a little free play. I think it might be limited to how long they can play in a day, just so that they can get comfortable with the game and understand it. But they will not be able to earn anything. If you want to earn something, you gotta have the two cards, because we're gonna have play to earn. So not even just tournament, so that when you are just actually playing with your friends, you'll be earning classic rewards tokens, which you can swap back in for BNB or ETC. So it's going to be play to earn as well. So there's a lot in plan. All right. So if you choose two cards, it's the same thing. You will be assigned, random attack or defense, right? You select your two cards, and then, it will be boosted by 25%, whether your attack or defense. And then with the two cards, one card gets randomly revealed, and then you can choose to either keep the other card or swap the other card. And then same 60 seconds. I don't know why we kept the same 60 seconds for two cards and five cards, but anyway, so same 60 seconds to make the change um, to the cards that were not revealed. And after that, the points are recalculated, and then we are all together here. So as you can see here, we come together, and then the gameplay is just the same, just like the others. So from here, attacking team gets to play first, and you bring up a team, the other person brings up a player, and then they do the counterpoints first. After that, each player gets to roll, and then they increase their points based on what they roll, and the highest they can get is 30%. And after that, we just compare the scores. Whoever has the highest score wins. I'm getting a pretty epic 3D animation roll, because I know sometimes the games are going to be so close that it's going to just depend on that final roll to see who edges the other person. Yeah. Hey, DMB, what's up? What's up? How you doing? How you doing? Organic growth, yes, yes, yes. But then, as we are growing and we can afford, if when we can afford it, we will definitely, try to push, get a little hype, just a little hype going. It's also needed a little bit, but for now we're just focused on actually building the thing, because I believe that is the best form of marketing, like having a good working product that is seamless. It wouldn't take too much effort to market that. Once the demo is released, the game will become much more intuitive to play. Yes, yes, I know it will. Um, right now, it's probably looking a little complex from all this, but it's really not. It's really not. I may not be doing a good uh, job explaining things easily, but it's really not that complex. Once you understand the stats that the players come with and how they affect each other and how they affect the opponent, that's it. You're good. A graph is hard to read for a game to make sense. Once I see 10 cards, yes, 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 yes. So what will happen is, with in the future, I think one thing I can also do is, I can, instead of just explaining this and so for you guys to imagine, um, I could just grab images of the cards and pretend to play it against myself, or something of that sort. It might be easier to understand. Yeah. Yes. Actually, I'm not showing you guys all of this all of the document here, but we do have a leaderboard. Yeah, we do have a leaderboard. Okay. We have a leaderboard. We have other stats. That will be your win or loss ratio. We're going to have stats on whether you are a better attacker or the defender. And actually, the on the leaderboard, the top for each week will be earning, you know, will be pretty. I mean, the play to earn for the top three or top five, whatever, for a week, there'll be a pretty substantial amount there to encourage those who are regular players of the game. So yes, for sure, for sure, for sure, for sure. And also, one thing that I came up with uh, recently was, it's like, so for the cards, guys, there's a 10% chance that when you mint, you will get uh there's a 10% chance that you will get what is it, a 5-star card. It's a 10% chance. There's a 15% chance that you will get a 4-star card. So between the two of those, there's a 25% chance you will get either a 4-star or a 5-star card. Okay. So it's not like there are not that many 5-star cards. Yeah, I mean, I can show you literally how many 5-star cards are left. They are all in there and it's still random. And I think the probability for a 1-star card is, let me see, what is that? What is how do I calculate this probability? All right, there's a 30% chance that you will get a 1-star card when you mint. There's a 30% chance that you get a 1-star card when you mint. Okay. And I think it goes down from there. Like, and so to yeah, 25% chance to get a 2 card. And so the cards are in there. The cards are in there. Let's see. Lots of info. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Any other questions? Any other questions? Any other questions? I feel like the video was a little drawn out, but at the same time, maybe if I actually made a video, um, it will be. But the truth is, I really don't want to make a video with just this nerdy flowchart stuff, right? It's just gonna scare some people. So I'm just gonna wait for some of the real graphics to come from the game itself, because the first batch that came, what happened was some of it wasn't fully in line with how the characters were. um, and so we had to go back and do some adjustment to make sure it kind of like fits the characters, a little bit, because our characters, even though it's still our characters are still fictional, right? We are a little closer to being real than a fantasy, right? Than a complete cartoon fantasy. So the initial graphics, probably leading in that direction and didn't quite fit the characters. So we're going back to the drawing board and trying to get everything right. All right. So, guys, still 15 million. I know most of you who are watching already have minted, 15 million. And ETC, your mint is coming up soon. I'm not going to say exactly when because I cannot, but after tomorrow I can tell you when. It could likely be this weekend. So that's one thing out there. It likely could be this coming weekend. um, so we again ready for the ATC, and the ATC main has something really 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 special going on, which I posted on Twitter a while back. And let me see if I can show you guys. So the ETC mint, even though the ETC mint doesn't, the ETC mint will not give you tokens. It has something really special going on. I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna try to pull this information. All right. So this is what the ETC mint has going on. Um, so the first 1,000 mints on ETC will share all the proceeds. When I say all, 100% of all the proceeds from the last 1,000 mints. And the way we've structured it so far is the first for the first 2,000 is going to cost 2.5 ETC. We try to make it close to BNB price. Okay, that's what the first 2,000 is going to cost, and then the next 2,000 will be 3 ETC. The next 2,000 will be 3.5 ETC. The next will be 4 ETC, and the last one jumps from 4 to 5 ETC. So literally, if you mint one on in the first 1,000, and we are able to um, mint out. If you minted one for 2.5 ETC, you will get 5 ETC back. And the way we are going to structure it, whoever mints the first one will get whoever mints 9,001. Whoever mints the fifth one on ETC will get whoever mints 9,005, whatever they pay for their mint. And they are going to pay more, so you are going to get all of that. All of that. The reason why I'm doing this is that the very first 1,000 is going to be crucial for us. That's going to help us with our next level of advertising, next level of game design feel. We want it to be a whole experience. So I consider all the first 1,000 as initial investors, just like in BNB, because in BNB you are not only getting your NFTs, you are getting these tokens, and these tokens are going to be very very crucial. And what we're going to do is that for our main tournaments, you're going to need to have some of these tokens to enter the tournament. So the game tokens are going to be almost like the economy of the game, and we are going to build that value by building a good game that is rewarding. And now people will now have to go and find these tokens to come and play in the big tournaments. So if you are holding on to them, and people, there's high demand enough for them, the price is going to go up. So for BNB, we really don't know how high the price can go for the tokens as well. And I'm very aware of the fact that um, there will be a price discrepancy at some point. ATC might go up, BNB might go up, one might go down, but at the end of the day, none of them have an infinite amount of NFT. So if BNB drops and people choose to mint on ETC, that's fine. If ETC drops, if ATC shoots up to $500 and people choose to mint on BNB, that's fine. but there's not an infinite amount on both platforms. So once we still have a good game going and we're still growing, everyone will be taken care of. All right, let's see. So far, you have two monks and two gladiators. Okay, okay. That looks like yes, that team is pretty good. Um, it's a pretty good defensive team because your gladiators are going to be boosted twice, and that's a pretty strong boost because gladiators already start with very high points. Let me see. So your level one gladiator is starting with, this is level one. It's starting with 70 attack, 80 defense, and 50 grit. So 80 is very high. Let me show you the reason why 80 is very high. Um, so level one, let's look at a level five archer. So right here, you see that a level five archer, right, has a defense of 80, a defense of 70. Hold on, let me make sure that. Oh no, that's great. Let me go up here. Let me. Oh, defense is the last one. Yeah, so I was right. So here, let me pull this. All right, lots of lines, guys. Don't worry, I know what I'm looking at. Okay, so a level five um, archer has a defense of 70, and a level one archer has a defense of 80. No, a level one gladiator. So a level one gladiator has more defense points than a level five archer. That's just insane, right? Yeah, but then of course the level five archer has more attack points to begin with, 100 attack points, and then 90 grit points, which are higher. But obviously the level one gladiator does have just a little bit more in defense than a level five archer. So those are little things you can keep in mind. All right. Um, what else do we have here? Can you mix ETC and BNB? Yes, you can. You can. Okay, so that I actually tweeted about this. So I confirmed it with the game design team, and you log in. So you're gonna have a game login, right? And your game login can be connected to, you know, multiple accounts. So even if you have four different BNB wallets that somehow you decide to put your NFTs in all different ones for, right? You can connect all the four as well. You can connect one BNB, one ETC, uh, two BNB wallets. It will pull all the NFTs and generate them as a team for you in the game for your um, login purposes. So yeah, that has been already solved. Okay. All right. So I think I'm spent for the day. I actually have a developer meeting in a few hours, and sometimes that takes long. So I'm going to take a nap now. And thank you all for being there. Sometimes I don't check the Telegram for like a day or two, and I see that the mods and everyone is holding the fort, and not just the mods, everyone else is commenting and keeping it going. So yes, please keep the conversation going, and we're gonna grow soon. Remember when we had nine people in the Telegram, right? Just about 2 months ago, and someone came in and they were like, "What? You have nine? What is this? It's a scam!" And then they left the group, right? Yeah, everybody starts from zero, so we're gonna start from somewhere, and then but we're gonna get there eventually. All right, peace, guys. Take care.